Hi, I'm Matt Cardle, and you're listening to Johnny Hero on U105.
Come on, summer loving. Come on, summer love. I'm so sick of this winter. My faith has frozen up. I need a new heart. I need a new home. I need somebody to heal these broken old bones. But when I run, a siren sings my name. Oh, I'm in chains. I'm a sucker for the pain. Nothing will change till I learn to break away. Oh, I'm in chains, but I'll never feel ashamed when I'm loving you, 'cause I'm loving you. Ooh. Come on, self-respect. Come on, self-control. Got me so conditioned. I need to be absolved. I'm picking up stains, I'm picking up stones. She's smiling, but she knows they'll never be thrown. And as I run, I'm falling for her again. Oh, I'm in chains. I'm a sucker for the pain. Nothing will change till I learn to break away.
Right, the Johnny Hero Show here on U105, and a man who was here, I think that was almost exactly a year ago, around about Halloween time, because I was dressed up as the Mad Hatter. It's Matt Cardle. How you doing, Matt?
I'm really good. Thanks for being. Thanks for having us back.
Yeah,
You know.
no problem.
And thanks for not having a Mad Hatter's outfit on.
I can
see your face this time.
Because I walked up and introduced myself to you earlier on, and I thought, the last time this guy saw me, I had full face makeup on.
No, I
full costume.
recognise,
Yeah,
of course
right,
you did,
okay, yeah. So listen, the new album, a lot of talk about this, and it's not sort of instantly recognisable as you. Was it deliberate?
Not many things apart from things like the lyrics and the parts and things like that are deliberate. The rest of it, I mean, the overall sound is it's just how it turns out, and it's all depending on who I write the songs with and who I produce them with. I mean, I do a lot. I play all the instruments on the album myself, apart from
You show off.
no, apart from the violin and things like that. But I just think the more of myself that I put into the album, the more it can sound like me. And if it doesn't, then that's maybe I've had more of an input this time than I've had last time, so it's a bit more different.
Do you play drums?
I do, yeah.
Do you? Because that's normally...
Drums are my first instrument.
See, I'm a drummer.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, normally, even the most talented multi-instrumentalists draw the line at drums. They play everything. Oh, I can't play the drums.
No. Drums was my first instrument. Drums and guitar. I was playing drums in bands for a little while.
Yeah.
When I was at school and in college and things like that. And then, obviously with playing the guitar comes playing the bass guitar and the acoustic and the electric. I started playing piano 6 or 7 years ago.
You're making us all very, very jealous here,
And the violin is things that I can't do, and the cellos and things like that.
Yeah.
But everything else, I mean, it's great fun to be able to do that.
But it must be brilliant then for you in a studio, because your ideas don't have to be interpreted, and maybe lose something in translation. You can do it right away.
Yeah, of course. And the only other thing with it is these things take time, and. Like we did with Fire, my second album, I mean, we had to set apart a lot of days for actual recording, obviously. But I mean, even going to a studio called Monkey Puzzle in Suffolk, where I do all my drum takes, I had to go there and spend, 3 or 4 days there just doing drum takes of all the tracks. And it's, you know, these things take a lot of time, and then, you know, another 3 days just laying down bass lines and you know, things. But like I mean,
for you as an artist, it's better doing that than saying the guy played the thing, but I'm not happy with it. That's not
of course. You know, absolutely. I mean, it's just great to have that amount of control.
Yeah. Well, if anybody had any doubt about your talent, you know, it's because you know the kind of show you made your name on does come in for a lot of criticism from, let's say, the cred music press.
Yeah.
But you would appear to be the exception to the kind of act that normally wins.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously, recently we've had James Arthur win the show. You know, he writes and he plays guitar and things like that. I mean, I think so many people in my year were very talented, like Cher Lloyd, super talented. You know, Aidan Grimshaw has an amazing voice, and Tracy Cohen has an amazing voice, and Rebecca Ferguson has an amazing voice. You know, there was lots of very talented people on the show, as there was in James's year. But credibility is a funny word. It's a strange thing.
The point I'm making that, you know, you were in there for your voice as well, but scratch the surface and there's a proper musician in there. You know?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's what I've done. It's me. It's who I am. It's what I've done all my life. I started singing when I was about sort of 6 years old. I picked up my first guitar at about 7 in a fishing holiday in France, and that was it from then on. I listened, and then when I got back from France, I had Bad from Michael Jackson on tape, and that just span around my CD Walkman for months, and that's what really kind of changed my life. And then I started playing guitar and drums, and then it just went from there, and everything that I could get my hands on, trying to play and write on, you know.
Yeah, well, you've mentioned Michael Jackson as a bit of an influence, but a lot of the music you did perform was Rage Against the Machine, Nirvana. That was slowly destroying your voice.
It was, no, absolutely right. You know, I'll never forget some rehearsals that I walked away from, like, unable to speak, and I was still smoking then and being naughty back in the day when I was 15, 16, you know, coming out of rehearsal and doing things like that. I was like, what am I doing? And then as soon as someone asked me to sing something else, that was when I'd be like, oh, you know, that's quite a pleasant sound, I think, you know, like, and it's not me screaming. So that's what kind of really changed it for me. And just learn. It took me till 25 to find my voice, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. These things take a long time. Because I was trying to, emulate my heroes like Eddie Vedder and Daniel Johns and Kurt Cobain, and not quite Zach De La Rocha, but you know, trying to be something that I guess I wasn't, you know, vocally. And at 25, through doing covers gigs in a friend of mine's pub, and I was playing a lot of girl songs, to Lily Allen, Amy Winehouse, Duffy, and I just sort of thought,
well, you can't do those with your gravelly voice.
Well, no, this is exactly it. And when I was singing those songs, it was like, hold on a minute. I mean, when I don't try and do anything, I guess that's my voice. When I'm not, you know, emulating something or trying to rock out too hard. So I just kind of rolled with it, and it was.
So about the new album, a couple of the tracks, I say we're playing them out in the office. The dancier side of stuff, you know, sounds like Nile Rodgers was in the studio with you for a couple of those.
Yeah, that was the second single, When You Were My Girl. I mean, I started writing it in Los Angeles with JC Chazet from NSYNC, funnily enough, and a friend of his, Jimmy. And we had an old Hofner viola bass that Paul McCartney used.
Yeah.
And we just had this bass line, and it all started with the bass line, and it was just, okay, cool. So then we started doing some melodies and stuff, and then we finished the song over in the UK. And it was the finishing touch, was that little Nile Rodgers guitar thing. It was like, there's something missing, because it was very, very stripped back. Like, there's a little bit of something missing, and then we flew the guitar on top. I was like, okay, that's what it is.
Yeah, because it's all very current again, you know. It's again with the Daft Punk sampling the Nile Rodgers stuff, and I mean, even in club nights that I do, where I would be playing, you know, the Killers, for instance, and the Pixies, and you know, and Daft Punk. Yeah. Well, you know, your song fits in there as well. You know, just fits in right along.
Yeah, no,
and you can throw it in with Le Freak, and you know, people are still dancing.
Yeah,
along,
no, that's exactly what it was designed to do. You know, it's just you know, the sentiment of the song is very much kind of heard it on the grapevine type thing. But no, it's a great song to listen to, I think.
Yeah, no, and as I say, it was one of those, we were playing in the office and we were saying, do you like that? Yeah, it's great. Who is it? Oh, no, you have to listen. You have to try. And no one guessed who it was.
Really?
You know? So is that... is it a good thing for you that you're maybe out of a pigeonhole that critics might have had you sort of painted into?
Well, I mean, if you can break free from any pigeonhole at any time, I think that's great, unless you're pigeonholed as the biggest, best band in the world, like Coldplay.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
We'll keep that label.
That's not a bad little hole to be stuck in. No, I mean, like, if there was any preconceptions in a negative way from the last album that have been lifted with this, then that's only a good thing for me. I think, you know, that even with the last album, some of the reviews and things like that, you could tell that people hadn't listened to it. You know, they would talk about the tracks, and that track is nothing like that. You have not listened to it.
Yeah.
You know, you haven't pressed play. You've looked at the track listing and gone, oh, skip. You know, if you want to do that, then fine. But I think with this album, you know, I'd love people to really give it a chance and listen to it fully, and then make a decision.
See, I think your fans will love it, because they're getting 2 for 1. You know, the Matt Cardle they love is still there, but there's all these little things branching out. They go, whoa, this is extra. You know?
Yeah, exactly. And you know, I've gone back to my roots on some of it. You know, back to the rockier side of things, and yeah, I mean, I've got to constantly improve myself, constantly develop my songwriting, my performing on the album, my studio work, to keep myself interested as well as other people, as well as my fans, and to expand the fan base slowly but surely, you know?
Yeah.
And not leave anybody behind, but take them with me.
When you take little tangents on what you record, do you feel there's a bit of a gamble? Maybe?
Yeah, there's always a gamble. As long as it's, you know what I mean, as long as this sounds very arrogant, but I think as long as I think it sounds good and I'm not the only one in our team, then it's fine. You know, I've done things in the studio with people that I have been way too left field, and we've sent them away, and they're like, you can't do that. It's like, it's a great song, and then the middle eight goes into some next weird. It's like, you just can't go that weird, and I'm like, okay.
So you do have people close to you who will not be afraid to be frank with you.
Oh,
that
God,
you can
no.
trust. Yeah.
Oh no, the A&R and the management and the label will be very honest with me. But, you know, at the end of the day, I'm the artist, and it will be how I want it to be. And this is the reason I'm in this position, is to have the control. But, you know, if I'm going to suddenly break into some experimental kind of like 7/6 jazz format, like, it's like, for a middle eight, people are like, Matt, no. And I'm like, okay.
At least you're not surrounded by flunkies who are just going to say, yeah, it's great. And then when it crashes, I told you so.
Exactly. No, we've got a great team.
Okay, well, listen, the new album is terrific, mate.
Thank you.
Any gigs happening?
We are coming back over here in April 2014 for a full band tour.
Yeah.
The 2 big surprises are where and when.
Yeah.
But all the details will be on my website, mattcardlemusic.com, and on my Twitter, my Facebook. Just keep your eyes peeled for that. And we will see you over here.
Okay, Matt, thanks for coming in, mate.
Thank you.
You tell me that you want me. You're thinking that you'll walk back in my life again, saying you need me. But I've been hearing stories from mistaken friends.